Dear participants, please keep a couple of things in your mind before we start. Please do not share this link and password with anybody else who is not registered. Kindly keep that in mind. And please make sure that you are not using the name of your device when you're logging in. Please make sure that you're using your own full names so that it will be easy for us also to keep a track of it. And a feedback will be shared, a feedback form, a Google form similar to the one that you filled yesterday. It will be shared with you after this session, that is at the end of this session. And the participants are requested to reply to that feedback form today itself, because it will also give us a sense of who all participated. And it is mandatory for you to fill this form in order to qualify for the e-certificate. So please keep these instructions in mind before we proceed. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, all of you, for joining. We'll be starting sharp in 2 minutes. We're just waiting for the resource person to join.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Yeah. Good afternoon.
Yes, good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon. Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon and welcome, Professor Sastry, and all the other faculty members and luminaries who have taken time to be a part of this 7-day faculty development program. We are extremely happy to have all of you here. I would also take this opportunity to welcome Reverend Father Joskoti PD, Principal Christo Jayanti Autonomous, who has also agreed to be a part of this inaugural session of this 7-day program. We welcome you too, Father. I would also take this opportunity to welcome Reverend Father Emmanuel PJ, Director, Christo Jayanti College of Law, who has really helped us to give shape to this program that we were thinking of for a couple of days now, and we were trying to figure out how to go about it. But Father really helped us, and he gave us an idea about how to go about it. And we are really thanking you, Father, for that. And we also welcome you to this first day of this 7-day faculty development program. I would also Professor Dr. Mohan Arbola, who to make this program a success and to really take this initiative in order to enable all of us to come together in this platform. We thank you, Professor Mohan Arbola, for that too. I am also welcoming all of the other guests and all of the other faculty members and research scholars and even advocates who have come and entered into this 7-day faculty development program. Welcome to all of you. Now, Reverend Father Joseph PD to kindly inaugurate this.
Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, Father. Yes, Father.
Yeah. Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. T.S.N. Sastry, Reverend Father Emmanuel P.J., Director Christian College of Law, Dr. Mohan Rao Bella, Principal Christian College of Law, and my dear honorable and respected delegates from different parts of our country who are a part of this 7-day online FDP program organized by the College of Law of Christi Jayanti College, and my dear friends. I feel it is my privilege and honor to be a part of the inaugural function of the 7-day online faculty development program for the members of the legal field with the title Nyayachara Deepika. We all believe research does not only equip us in our field of expertise, but it is also an important component in the generation of knowledge. It is impossible for a professional of the legal field to address the nuances of law without having the ability to do a thorough research. We at the Christi Jayanti College of Law are extremely privileged to organize Nyayachara Deepika, this 7-day online faculty development program for the members of the legal field, academicians, research scholars, practitioners, and also all who are seeking knowledge in the field of knowledge in the legal education. We are also happy to have the presence of various renowned resource persons during the next 7 days, including today, who have agreed to be part of this faculty development program. And I am sure with their praiseworthy expertise and unparalleled contribution in rigorous research and knowledge creation in law field, we all will have an enriching time. And when we go through the FDP program, I could see the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. T.S.N. Sastri's presence today for the inaugural session. And also we have the former judges, former principal, senior advocate, dean, professor, etc. in the coming days to guide us in this journey together to find out the nuances of methods and techniques of pedagogy and legal research. My dear Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. T.S.N. Sastry, we are really honored by your presence here today to address all of us and also to guide the participants with your expertise and also with your experience of more than 3 decades at various capacities in teaching, learning, administration, research, and also your valuable contribution to the society, especially in the field of human rights education and human rights proclamation. And also I am sure all the participants who are joined this FDP, you have come for a joint search, a working together, reflection together, and also to have share our vision about the techniques of pedagogy and legal research, various methods, and I am sure your insights will be greatly beneficial to all of us. While appreciating the dynamic presence of Dr. T.S.N. Sastry, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu, Dr. Ambedkar Law University, Chennai, I appreciate the Christianity College of Law under the able and dynamic leadership of Dr. Father Emmanuel PJ, the director, and Dr. Mohandav Bella, the principal, and the team of faculty members who visualize this FDP for the benefit of all of us. And the motto of Christianity College is light and prosperity. I am sure Nyayachara Deepika will be another step forward to brighten the light of knowledge and wisdom in the field of law, in the minds and hearts of all the participants for this FTP program, and through them, the entire community in the legal profession, the academic field, and also the research in our country. On this occasion, appreciating the presence of all the participants today, I wish this FTP all the best. May God bless you. Have an enriching and empowering time during the 7 days of this FTP program, which is organized by Christianity College of Law. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Father, for your encouraging words and for also introducing the topic of this FDP so clearly to all of the participants who are here. Thank you once again. Now I would call upon Professor Dr. Mohan R. Bulla to kindly give a small prelude to Nyayachara Deepika. and what we are aiming to do in the 7 coming days.
Respected Professor Dr. T.S.N. Sastry garu, most revered Father Joskutti PD, Principal Kristu Jayanti College, and our mentor, Reverend Father Emmanuel PJ, Director Kristu Jayanti College of Law, my dear faculty colleagues and faculty friends from all over India and abroad, several advocates who had got trained under us in the law college. A hearty welcome to this program named as Nyayachara Deepika. Today's session, actually, we have on several counts a very great beginning we are making in conducting this well required program, because we have the Canadian Committee on Legal Research and Methodology narrating the ideal requirements of a law institution. The committee in its report says that a law college or a law school is not only a teaching institution but a research center of its own. A core of advanced students and faculty members or professors must get involved in constant research, and there shall be a flow of books, articles, and studies to enrich the literature, and which would ultimately contribute for the development of the society and the country. And the teachers must always keep the wick burning, as Rabindranath Tagore rightly puts it. And being a constant researchers, the teachers and advocates, they are expected to carry forward the knowledge they get out of the research they conduct regularly, and that transforming technique we need to derive from learned speakers, especially T.S.N. Sastry garu is well known as a passionate researcher and an institution builder at par with many vice chancellors of recognized national law universities. And keeping that ideal established by the Canadian Committee on Legal Research, we have coined this, designed this, and requested various experts in the fields of teaching, research, pedagogy, advocacy, and also the judges. Because we see certain things like, say, today it has been reported that the migrant labor and the decision given by the Supreme Court has been, in a way, a different opinion has been expressed by Justice Gopala Gowda. And the ideal way of appreciating the subject is to be known, and the interpretative techniques are to be known to the teaching fraternity, which would pave the way for making the students into good advocates, judges, and useful citizens in the country. And with these introductory remarks, I take this opportunity to welcome Sastry garu, and once again, and I thank each one of the participants, and looking forward for a fruitful program, enriching us and empowering us to serve the society by and large. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that very generous welcome. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our guest, who is not just an avid researcher, but who is also a person who has and who continues to make very, very important observations in the field of human rights. So Professor Sastry has been in academia for more than 35 years now. He has been very, very closely associated with Savitribai Phule Pune University, and he is currently the Vice Chancellor of the Tamil Nadu Dr. Ambedkar Law University, Chennai, since March 26, 2018. And he is also the Vice President of the Indian Society of International Law, New Delhi, since May 2018. Professor has also not just made his contributions in India, but he has also made his contributions all across the world, as he has gone to places like Sweden and France, and he has also spoken about his contributions in the field of human rights in all over the world. Sir has also authored very beautiful books, which are also mandatory readings for international law, such as International Law of State Succession, Introduction to Human Rights and Duties. Sir also continues to be a chair of different important organizations and academic institutions across India, and the contributions that Sir has made in Warsaw, in Vistula University, because it was an international conference, and they really wanted him to give his inputs with respect to the research he has done in international law. These are just a few lines from what Sir has actually done, and Sir and the contributions that he has made in the field of law. And we are extremely, extremely privileged to have you over with us, Sir, for this first inaugural day of Nyayachara Deepika. And we are really excited to hear you. Now, I would hand over this session to you, Sir, and I would really like to hear from you.
Warm good afternoon to everyone.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Father Joseph Kuti and the Principal, Mr. Mohan, and Preeti Joseph, and other management committee members, the distinguished guests, co-panelists, and the colleagues from the law fraternity who are undergoing the FTP program in the next 7 days. I'm really thankful to Christian College for approaching me and requesting me. In fact, initially I was reluctant because of various other commitments I have. But the principal was continuously, which Mohan Bala was continuously persisting me that you should. Okay, then I said, okay, there is a, because we have to guide the younger generations with a lot of stimuli that has to come in the field of law. Unfortunately, legal education across the world, particularly in our country, has not taken the professional realm in law. Whatever experiments we are doing and whatever types of courses that we have introduced in India in law, whether it is honors course or you call it 5-year law course or national law schools. Well, many of my colleagues are unhappy with me several times because I'm outspoken, but I'm not unhappy with anybody because my outspokenness is only how to guard the legal field like any other field in the country. From Panchayati Board member to the President of India, from the days of independence that we got it in 1958, lawyers are dominating every field. This is 100% truth. Lawyers are dominating every field. 70 to 80% of lawyers, our parliamentarians, our MLAs, MLCs, our ministers, everybody are from the legal field. Then legal education is in doldrums or is in a poor state of condition. It's unfortunate. In spite of establishing national law schools or premier law schools like law universities like Ambedkar Law University, which is the first university started in affiliating university, followed by our state Karnataka. Now Rajasthan started last month. Next month Orissa is starting. Well, there is a trend that law universities of affiliating also will be coming in every state on the lines of national law school. But we are a divided house. Technically, people may like it, may not like it. I want to make blunt statements. That's why I'm hated. I don't mind. Because when we call a spade, we have to call a spade. National law schools are supposed to be first area to deliver bench bar relations in the country. We could not. I am making this statement because last 4 years, the Supreme Court of India conducted a conference to the Vice Chancellors of National Law Universities, Premier Universities, and wherein it was expressed by majority of the judges and majority of the society, and almost all recommendations of a law commission or any committee, any commission that says that legal teaching is very, very poor. This is the first observation that every committee made it very clear. Even the Knowledge Commission made it. And this was started in 1975 by Professor S.K. Agarwala. Then later, in 78, by my own teacher, Professor Bakshi. Professor Bakshi lamented on the levels of teaching in India. The latter by number of scholars, Professor Mean and everybody started saying. Then I found out what is the reason for lacking teaching in law in India is we don't have structural course pattern or course curriculum design. In fact, I have written a paper. I told the Bar Council chairman very recently that 2019 regulations that please don't implement. Let us have a discussion. I sent a paper for legal reforms for publication. It will soon out. But I'm suggesting a new model for legal education, legal curriculum, and for younger generations, younger faculty to look into the legal profession. Don't think that I'm starting on the negative side. I'm talking on the aspects that are pinpointing our profession today. Well, these positions like Vice Chancellor, this, that will come and go. We should not think I'm a Vice Chancellor today, I'm this, that. Basically, we are teachers. We will remain as teachers. We will die as teachers. We will be remembered as teachers, provided we do our service properly. Otherwise, the men may come, men may go, but I go on forever. So people, students will come, take their degree, go. Some may become judges, some may become lawyers, but ultimately, the blame comes to us, we teachers, why we have not inculcated the skills of techniques of legal research and legal teaching. Compared to West, legal teaching and legal research is poor in India. In fact, China. But today, in the COVID-19 situation, everybody thinks that China is an enemy country, and they are also doing, of course, we don't want to go into politics. We are also doing from whatever that they are doing to India. But that are all political aside. But academic front, if we see, till 1980, Chinese legal education was completely in gold terms. Nobody in the world recognizes Chinese legal education. But they changed themselves and brought in the various perspectives for the development and introduced modules and models with respect to various perspectives of legal education. And today, Chinese law schools are rated as #1 law schools in less than just 12 years. Having potential, excellent resources, and as a legally strong, developed country with an excellent number of honorable judges, eminent lawyers, eminent academicians. Can't we make it in India? We can. We can definitely, I can challenge. We can even beat. But our system of education, pattern, rules, regulations, everything should change. The helm of an affairs person at the university level should encourage the affiliated colleges, should look at the affiliated college perspectives, should think of, we need more autonomy. I ask one question. All of you, if we touch our heart, including me, when we are youngsters, how many got an opportunity to draft the syllabus of their own? We teach somebody's syllabus. Somebody dictates us. Then how do I can put my brain to teach what my student wants, what my curriculum wants? Well, you can have a broader framework fixed by the Bar Council of India with some important subjects. Just leave it to the colleges or to the universities to frame their syllabus. And before syllabus, it is not possible every teacher to prepare the syllabus. To be honest, the committee may be constituted. The committee can come out with a syllabus, send to the affiliated colleges or to the faculty among the department, take their comments, then taking that into consideration, put it before the Board of Studies for further reformation, because experts will be there, so they reform and bring in so that you will have a satisfaction that I took part of the syllabus framing. We are talking teaching techniques, talking research and other thing. I will come to the subject. Don't think that the Vice Chancellor is just passing some comments and going. I'm going to definitely touch the syllabus topic, which is of interest of the FDP and how it should go on. I will definitely address. But before that, addressing, I want to just make few ideas of the few observations that how do we do. Right now, in my own university, I asked all my colleagues that participate in syllabus framing. Come out. In spite of hectic schedule, I sit with them over mobile app thanks to COVID-19. Every negative, I believe, a negative situation always presents you something positive. Because COVID has two sides of a coin. One side, it is a dreaded disease. The other side, golden opportunity. What is the golden opportunity? In every field, coming to our own field, law, golden opportunity. Today, we are now sitting in my own chamber. I am addressing and inaugurating an international conference. A Supreme Court judge can listen a case sitting a lawyer in his house. These are all positive changes if we take into consideration. Diseases will come, diseases will go. And today, whole world, we are worried about COVID, news channels, everybody writing this many dead, this many dead, this many dead. If we compare to the deaths of other diseases like TB, cancer, malaria, this, that which we have already, the death rate of that, the death rate of this is negligible. Negligible, definitely. But then what we have to think is why the disease has come. Whether it is Chinese disease or not, we will not go into the detail. A disease has come, which is creating us a lot of havoc, which is creating us problems. Why it has come? Who is responsible? We. Have we ever bothered about environment? Have we bothered about mental rest? Have we ever bothered about peace? We have not bothered. Why I am telling? Because this COVID-19, the coronavirus, is changing the concept of globalization to unglobalization and going to concentrate more on the perspectives of strengthening your economies, immunities, and various other services on economic globalization, which is very important. So when we talk of the economic impact of globalization, economic impact of globalization will think of national, regional, international. That means the multinational corporations or the developed countries will look after, instead of talking the old paradigm principle of globalization, of sharing resources, now they think of pooling resources and developing nationally and then come out with international. This is the concept that we are going to witness soon. We are thinking of economy is in doldrums, GDP has gone. This is only we are thinking. Before we I was reading in the newspapers an excellent exposition given by some of the economists that you are thinking GDP rate, but you are not thinking the human life value in terms of GDP. Each single individual's human life is 1% of GDP. If you count how many individuals' life can be clubbed together with the GDP rates. We are not thinking that. You may think that he's talking like an economist. Yes, law requires economics. Interdisciplinary perspective, teaching of law is important. This is the aim with which the national law schools have been started, unfortunately deviated from 88. When national law school was started, there was the young teacher attending the the refresher course on law and economics conducted by Professor N.R. Madhav Menon, the first refresher course conducted by N.R. Madhav Menon and by a law university on law and economics. There I told him that this path will not argue, which without taking into various other parameters into consideration. You are doing an extremely good aim, because the concept of national law schools is not started in 88. It started way back in 1975 in Pune workshop by Professor Bakshi and Professor S.K. Agarwala. In 78, Professor Bakshi made it very clear we have to establish national law schools on the lines of Harvard Law School. Well, they submitted their proposals to government. Well, we don't know the reasons, and they too never told us, but it has not taken up until 88. Okay, 85, 87, it took up and it came. Let me tell you how many law teachers are aware that the concept of national law school started in 76. It was not. Many were not aware. Everybody thinks only with National Law School Bangalore, but new concept has come. It's a decade-old concept and decade-old history before it came into existence. Why I'm saying? Because, my dear young colleagues from the profession who are undergoing the FTP, please think that any program that we are attending, pay serious attention, understand and listen to the and then think what the expert said in a particular workshop on a particular framework will bring in various perspectives on. This is more important. But I have observed a number of workshops, either as a participant or as an observer or as a resource person, now as an administrator. 70 to 80% of us only think that the certificate came just for a promotion. Well, my thing is over. Now I am happy. I will go to my institution and say I completed those. Give me increment. That thinking should be stopped. We have to think how we can enrich, how we can deal with various perspectives. This is the line of argument. I'm going to put it in the 7-day workshop. If you all remember, in 2011, when the University Grants Commission introduced the idea of 1-year LLM, they have introduced one stream called pedagogy and pedagogical skills. Exactly the theme which the college has chosen for FDP. Of course, research methodology. This is what started. Many people doesn't know in law. I wonder, very few of the youngsters might be knowing, even seniors themselves doesn't know. The concept of legal research seriously started in the year 1975 by Professor S.K. Agarwala Bakshi by conducting 29 days research workshop in legal research methodology in Pune with the help of UGC by the Pune department. But God has given me a chance to serve in the same department as a HOD, as a successor of Professor S.K. Agarwala. I had long discussions with Agarwala and read through his 10 notes that is available in the department, what are all he made. Professor Ajappa, Professor C.K. and Raja. There is no depth of names. Well, huge number of professors are there in the country. These people have given, then the UGC named it as Pune workshop of legal research methodology. Later, Indian Law Institute has taken out, brought out volumes. We don't have number of books on legal research methodology. We don't write books. Many of our teachers, youngsters, write books on CPC, CRPC, IPC, 30 questions at a glance, 50 questions at a glance. But we don't write methods of teaching, types of teaching, various ways of teaching, methodology of teaching, dogging of teaching. All these are research, how to carry research, how to do projects, how to do cluster projects. We don't have any books, even today. We have to depend on the Western literature. Are we such pathetic, sad stage that we are being a very eminent, rich, legally strong country? Because neither we involve the honorable judges. Of course, nowadays, after the law schools and others come, the honorable judges are finding some time to come. We are not cultivated the relationship between bench, bar, and academics. I call the law teachers, lawyers, judges together. I have coined a name, you like it or not, but justice workers. We are justice workers. We are all working for the development of justice. So we have to have a franchise to develop. I'm happy some of the honorable judges, in spite of their busy schedule, are readily coming to deliver lectures or come to moot courts. This and that. There are fascinating judges are there in this country. Fascinating lawyers are there in this country. But are we teachers are fascinating towards that extent to reorient our younger colleagues? This is the question. Are we senior teachers? Why legal education today is in this problem? Because our senior teachers never taught or taught in the culture of sharing between senior and junior. Please shut down that. We have to discuss among ourselves, deal with ourselves, and then we can develop various. Well, with this background, let me quickly come into the topic of today. Legal teaching techniques and research techniques. Very briefly, very broadly, I will deal because now many people, maybe in the 7 days, all the experts may deal with. Maybe if if I get a chance, maybe I will also take a lecture on any of the areas if you are interested. I can do. That is a very important perspective. So, well, when we go to a class as a youngster or as a senior, whatever it may be, what are the initial steps of teaching? How do we go about teaching? Respective various aspects. Well, before going into teaching, are we mastered over a particular subject? Well, when I asked, somebody told me, sir, I have an LLM in criminal law. I can teach criminal. That means you are neither expert nor teacher. Start very clearly that I don't know anything about criminal law. We know what is happening in an LLM class. We need not pretend. Well, you go, a teacher will teach half an hour and go, a professor will talk something and you do some research. And nowadays you have computer, you have technology, students are far smarter, cut, paste and put and do PhD means cut, paste over, PhD is over. And thanks to UGC, may not like it, but making PhD compulsory for a job is bad. You can't make it PhD is compulsory. It's a degree. Now PhD has become a degree, not a research orientation. In no Western university, no country, they ask a PhD, no ask you a PhD. They don't ask you anything. If you have an orientation, if I'm a scholar, if I work in a subject very well, that we can. But we have not developed. We have compartmentalized our education system in India. The new education policy is having high expectations with a lot of freedom, but I don't know how far it will be implemented. We are not the policy makers, or we are not know. But given the chance, if we read thoroughly national education policy, if we understand the parameters of national policy, it's an excellent policy. It's drafted very well compared to the previous policies. Of course, they too were drafted very well, but it has a more innovative orientation, fixing responsibility on the teacher. That is the point which the national education policy has brought in. So when we look in that perspective, how expertise we have in the various subjects. I'll give you few techniques of the teaching, very, very important, that what you are going to be an expert in the subject, the broad range of objectives that a teacher should have, or how to apply the new rules or patterns of teaching to your teaching. Suppose if a case is decided, how do we deal with the case? I'll give you a small example here as a teacher. If one particular, in a law class, we normally say CPC gives us jurisdiction to court. That's common. Section 19, Section 20, CPC gives us the jurisdiction, local jurisdiction, whether you have a cause of action arose in local jurisdiction or not. If cause of action is not arose in jurisdiction, we will say the court doesn't have the jurisdiction. CPC. Well, another legislation may say it has given a jurisdiction to you in any manner which might not have a jurisdiction to. Let me tell you, a decided case by Madras High Court in 2007. Chandrika Soaps versus Chandrika Soaps. IPL. Chandrika Soaps, all of us know, it's a well-established company. So, this Chandrika Soaps has been taken over by, they sold it, so Wipro company has purchased it. So when Wipro company purchased it, then somebody started Chandrika Soaps or something. There was a small letter exchange, but trust is sent. So it's a copyright violation cases. So Chandrika Soaps factory is in Kerala, administrative office in Pondicherry, main administrative corporate office is in Bangalore. A small unit was situated in Chennai city. So the Chennai city came to know about this fact, office, so they filed a case in the well, usually the district court said that we don't have jurisdiction because it's in the corporate office or cause of action arose or the main head office where it is situated. You are only a minor place in Injambakam area, so you don't have a jurisdiction. Well, then it went to appeal to the High Court of Madras. The High Court of Madras first bench also supported the judgment of the lower court and said, fine, we don't have jurisdiction. They went to appeal to the division bench. The division bench also supported the first bench. They should have left it there. It's an interesting, I'm not able to understand till date. They moved a review petition before the Madras High Court. Why not we have it in Madras? Because we have jurisdiction, the court has jurisdiction under copyright law, under patent law. Patent law, copyright law gives jurisdiction. If not CPC, this gives jurisdiction. Why we can't file a review? Well, the Chief Justice of Madras High Court, Justice A.P. Learned jurist himself. So I was the head of the department of IPR in which university at that time. One day, Justice Shah called me, Professor, there's a doubt like this. You are IPR H1. Should we discuss? I told him, frankly, I'm not aware of the perspective, but I look back at it and tell you so. Then we had some work and then we had a discussion. Then it was the first bench. Justice A.P. Shah himself was the judge. Delivered the judgment. A wonderful judgment. Only it's not about the case. Forget about the case. The judgment was whether the courts in Madras have a jurisdiction or not. Then they said when the patent law, when the Copyright Act were also passed by the Parliament, when they confer jurisdiction on you, they override CPC. Because they are also legislations passed by the Parliament. This is also legislation. So when one legislation doesn't have, should we have another legislation which gives jurisdiction should be taken into consideration. Yes, this is the court order, and the court directed the lower court entertain and examine the case basing on the merits. Well, we are not concerned about the further part of the case. What I would like to tell you here is that this type of thinking and reading that the law teaches penetrate into the subject. It's not confined to CPC. It is not pleadings. It is not drafting. It is not CRPC. It is not IPC. Another legislation that gives you a perspective to deal with. Why not we explain and examine this? Then only we are making a good synthetic lawyer as a teacher. How many of us are doing that interpretative, inter legislative examination perspective in class? Let us touch honestly and question ourselves, how many of us are doing this? Always we complain, this is not there, that is not there. Well, everything is shortage. But are we teaching to that level? You don't teach Ramayana, Mahabharata or 1 hour class of history of the act and legislation. What we do is, we will say 1 hour history of the whole thing. RPC 302, this is the section, 302 deals with these are the English. But why should you and I teach? It is there in the book, student can read in the book. It's very well available. And nowadays in the net, if he types, he gets it. That's not the teaching. Teaching to the generic level of interpretation of law in conflicting situations, hypothetical cases, why not we do? We don't. In fact, many of the teachers, honestly, I'm telling you, we don't read even the AR or SCCA online or the judgments fully. Adler Monmouth has written a book called How to Read a Book. How to read a book. When American universities, they read how to read a book. When we read a book, we have to learn the techniques of reading a book. That's the first basic part of such a technique. I do read a book. So first you take a book, go through very fast, random reading. Then you take a book second time, review reading, what you read first time. First time you read in 10 days, suppose a voluminous book. Second time it takes 25 days. Third time, I read the same book in a very more time of now random reading is over, casual reading is over, reading stages. Random reading, casual reading. Now knowledge reading. That means I read, understand. And we do one bad habit. While you're reading, we underline with pencil or pen in the book. Even my own book, your own book, don't underline. Take a pen, take a pad, and take a note. We have forgotten mobile technology. We have forgotten pen and pad. Take a note. Observe the points, what you want and what you have to. Friends, don't mistake me. When I was a teacher, first time entered in Pondicherry University. Of course, in a law college also I taught. But when I went to the university soon, in Pondicherry University, when I joined, my MPhil students told me, "Sir, your teaching is horrible." I'm openly telling you, horrible. I didn't get offended. I'm a very youngster, about just 25 years. Not offended. Taken it coolly. Then thought of myself, what I should do, because I've entered the profession law, how to survive in law. Then of course, the days were very old, but still technology was there. I choose a tape recorder, cassette, put it in the cassette, closed the doors in my room, and started delivering a lecture myself as if I was in the class, recording, then listening, then recording, then listening, then recording, then listening, then prepared for the class and went to the class. Really, I did it. Not telling you today I'm a vice chancellor, this and that. Like this, for 6 months I practiced. After that, I took the same students. Some of them are professors, some of them are very senior IAS officers, some of them are ministers now. Now they told me, "Sir, we are very sorry to tell you at that point of time, now your lectures are very excellent. Your extempo lectures." I said, "Don't say sorry. I'm happy. I gratitudely mention this in every class of mine. Because of you, I became a good teacher. The student is good, the teacher is good. If the student is bad, the teacher is worse." But how long we are doing this practice? This is the first basic technique of developing back letter rules of teaching and giving litigation-oriented skills. As I told you, the case just now, litigation-oriented or interpretative. We are all talking statutory interpretation. So statutory interpretation or intra-comparative legislative perspective, all these things can be clubbed and given in just 20 to 25 minutes teaching. Get satisfaction, your institute gets the name, and your student will remember you lifelong. But don't compromise on the quality. Student may hate you. All my students will hate me when I'm a teacher in the classroom or I'm a professor in the department with the exams and other things. They hate me. I'm openly telling they hate me. They say he's a scoundrel teacher. He's a very strict teacher. But after they leave the university, remember you won. That's my experience. Hundreds of students today also they write to me. Excellent, sir. We could not realize at that point of time. We could not use at that point of time. We would like to share with you. That gives us solace to us as topmost teachers and developing a coherent theory. You yourself develop a theory. You yourself do research. Because just now, Madam Preeti Joshi mentioned one of my book, State Succession. State succession, I have written a book, a very dry area, very tough area. Professor Bakshi and others told me, you can't do research in this area in those days. I had a very difficult idea. 3 months back, in the month of January, when I was talking to our Honorable Attorney General of India, K.K. Vedugopal, I discussed some of the points with them. Sir was convinced. I said, new arguments you are giving, Professor, what is the authority you are giving? I said, sir, I did a PhD, I published a book on of all the recordings. Then he said, you send me. If I'm convinced, I will use your book in my arguments in the court case out of the government. I sent the book due to lockdown. Just 2 days back, I received a letter from Vedugopal sir stating that well researched, most authoritative publication. I did. Such an acclamation came from the great learner, doyen of constitutional law of this country, K.K. Vedugopal. This is satisfaction. We may get position, we may not get position. But this satisfaction, the teacher can never forget. This is honest dedication that we do. Well, if you ask, I have not earned any assets. Well, I don't have any bank balances. How? The academic credentials is my bank balance. That's sufficient. That's honest. God is there to give us a lot enough. So, colleagues, what I would like to tell you, I don't say that I'm a senior professor, vice chancellor, or something. We are all colleagues. I'm still a student. I'm learning from you also. I will learn from you also. Anything, but go for various short-term perspectives, ideal pedagogical skills, and what do you deal with the pedagogical perspective? You have internets, this and that. Look into the various perspectives and see that unintangible converts into tangible. So these are the teaching. That means when you go to a class, prepare, make a note, synoptic, what you want to teach that day. Each day class taking is a new experience. Even today, after 35 years of teaching, one day my daughter asked me, Papa, you are 30 years you are teaching same subjects. Why do you read every day again before going to the class? I said, today's class is new to me. I have to teach something new to my student. I can't go to the class what I studied or what my teacher taught to me. I have to read the journals, I have to update my knowledge, how to deal so that I can give more and more interpretative, inter-exposure skills to the students. This should be the commitment of a teacher. Otherwise, don't come to teaching. Noble profession. It's a noble profession. Well, we have problems, we have everything. I'm not saying it's a rosy picture. Teachers are not paid properly, salaries by many of the private colleges. They're all there. But still, it's fascination. Teaching is a profession. So practice, of course, if it is a lecture, I can do because I don't know how much time they have allotted me and I don't want to take a very long time taking everybody's time. But when you take preparation and participation, how do you make a preparation and a participation? Well, preparation, as I told you, you need not read hundreds of books. Take, suppose I'm teaching evidence, cross-examination, suppose I'm teaching. Today's my class is cross-examination. Go to the book, see the section, what is cross-examination? What are the various principles of cross-examination? How cross-examination is? This is what we are going to teach. Teach that. That is there in the book. But how a lawyer teaches, now you have YouTube, is that everything see, and virtual courts are now a reality. See into the cross-examination, discuss with some lawyer, and take into the principle. Examine some of the cases, vital cases that came up before the court. How the cross-examination process is being conducted, how that is being done, how it is teach. Of course, practicing lawyers can teach us much beautiful than us. But in the parameters given to us, let us give some practical orientation. So there are various methods of teaching. Instead of learner-centered teaching, that is called as the one-way pattern of teaching. You have name it in any way, Marshall plan or method plan, whatever it may be. Go to interactive, intra-perspective. Game teaching. You divide your class into 4 or 5 people and give them a small issue and ask them how to do it. Role play. How do you role play? Role play means, suppose bride burning is there, or dowry death is there. You give them a problem. Group Kadvar issue itself. And ask the students, few boys and girls, join together and ask them to depict that as a classroom. And do that to the society also as a social play teaching. We don't conduct competitions and other things, role play teaching, this teaching, that teaching to the students or any other perspective. These are all teaching techniques and types. The Maharashtra National University in Nagpur has brought out the journal on techniques of teaching last year. I have also contributed a paper on significance of technology in legal education. There I have discussed all the methods and methodologies of teaching by employing technology. Now everybody says, I'm a tech savvy, use your technology. It's very easy. So that the student will be more attractive. The student will get maximum and a minimum period of time. So these are some of the techniques of teaching. Well, coming to research. Research is very horrible and poor in India. We have grammatical mistakes, grammar mistakes, spelling mistakes, this, that, level. While doing a research, the first fundamental principle is that we select a topic which go to a guide. In fact, Bombay-based universities insist that you do the title. Title is registered, which is absolutely wrong. How a student who is coming to you to do PhD can give a title exactly and say that this title you do research. And after 2 years, 3 years, if you don't find, if you don't get material, you again change, apply to university, take 6 months time, pay fees, pay this, then a committee, then change. Absurd. In Andhra University, where I did my PhD, our faculty members mostly, and the university mostly oriented by Yale law school. So the Yale pattern is entirely different. You don't give an area, exact title. You give an area. I will do PhD in international law, public international law. Each perspective, I will do my PhD. Once you have given that, there is no chance that I will not do PhD in international, I will do in private. Opposite. Given the area, you have given the area. Then you are given time to discuss with your guide, formulate your topic after collecting materials in a year's time. To 10 to 2. 6 months before your submission, you have to give the exact title, everything, which is not replica. That means you have more freedom, more flexibility to do it. Unfortunately, our Andhra regulators, UGC and others insist to give a title. How do I give a title when I'm not aware of the research? I told you, doing PhD is compulsory for degree itself. We have lost the value of research. PhD became a degree. It's not become a research oriented. Let anybody think. We have to think of change. We have to think of alternatives. Well, people may not like. Many people say Sastry is critical. He is highly idiosyncratic. I speak the truth. You call me idiosyncratic. You call me a fool because I fight for youngsters. We should not forget our past. We have undergone all the problems. Youngsters or our new colleagues should not suffer anymore. We try to help them. I cannot think that I'm a vice chancellor tomorrow. How will I become UGC vice chancellor? You do it, but think of others also. Take the bogey with you. That should be the philosophy. So, topic of selection of topic is varies on various perspectives. Your interest, guide interest, various number. Then once we select the topic, well, I don't go into the details because research methodology I'm teaching for more than 15 years. Come out with the latest examples of teaching research methodology. Don't teach the mundane examples of research methodology. Research methodology means in law we know only doctrinal, non-doctrinal. We don't know beyond this. Even a student doesn't know how to write an hypothesis. In PhD thesis, we see hypothesis means there will be 10 hypotheses. How can you make 10 hypotheses? In a research study, only one hypothesis is necessary. And people write hypothesis, research questions. If you choose research questions, there is no chance for hypothesis. If you choose research questions, no chance for hypothesis. Choose one. Too many, too unwieldy, but in the end, something. And people think that I have written this much bulky thesis. I'm great. That means you have made an 90% cut and paste. If you can present solidly of 100 books in just 3 lines, that is because in law, when we do case citation, particularly after reading hundreds of PhD theses for evaluation, I stopped. Because same repetition. How many times we read? How many times we do? We can't reject. Because after a student does a lot of PhD, so we suggest some methods, this, that, everything. We can't operate until and unless it's too bad, too plagiarized, we can't reject. How do you present a case? People write facts, figures, this, that, everything. Nothing is necessary. Just to take the fact in just 2 to 3 lines, present the fact. Key part of the judgment present in 2 to 3 lines, that is sufficient for the case. We don't. Because in my own PhD thesis on state succession, many people doesn't know the Supreme Court of India decided on state succession nearly 2,000 cases between 1950 to 1960. 2,000 cases. In all cases, the court has not analyzed principles of international law. It analyzed only 1947 Indian Independence Act. I'm coming to the exact core point of research. How do you do research? Because today we call, the question is, 370 is abolished. Government of India doesn't have power. Kashmir Assembly has given, this has given, that has given. Today, Kashmir Assembly is not that. People say, why Kashmir is given a special status, we don't know. Political reason. Nobody stated anywhere the reason. Even Constituent Assembly has not fully discussed it. But if we read, because there are 500 states, Mysore, Madurai, like so many states, like Kashmir, Jammu Kashmir, every state has communities. Hyderabad, Junagadh, various states. When all these states are signed the same instrument of action, including the Maharaja of Kashmir. Please, colleagues, observe the research technique I'm pinpointing here. Very clear pinpoint that Please don't miss. I'm very acute research methodology with respect to of interpretation of statute. How do you pick up the section 7 or class 7 of 1947 Indian Independence Act says on the particular day 1947 August 15, there will be two dominions, India and Pakistan, and the suzerainty of the crown will lapse over the princely. This is the verbatim wording in class 7 of 1947 Indian Independence. Basing on this, the Jammu Kashmir High Court and the Supreme Court of India said that the kings became independent, their sovereign. I don't find fault with the judgment or the honorable judges. It is the fault of the bar which has not enunciated the point of the bench. The point is to be enunciated here from a research scholar's point. Are they really independent? Before independence, what was their status in international law? Well, in the ancient India, they were under the perspectives of various aspects. What is the condition of a state in international law? Either you have independent power, sovereign power, foreign relations, armed forces under your control or not. Apart from the core principles of population, territory, this, that, sovereignty under international law that you have. These states never had. In Maurya kingdom, Sri Krishna never had this, that never had. Then Charan, Chola, and Pandyan, all kingdoms were there. So these were delegated. After that, the Muslim rule has come into existence, where the emperors of India were the Muslim, Akbar, Babur, and the Muslim. These were suzerain. Then British came. They were our. And one important principle that all of us know, all our law teachers, that Lord Dalhousie's rule of if you don't have children, the state will decide who will be the successor for the throne. Then where are you sovereign? One. Two. The act says only suzerainty lapses, and they call it not suzerainty, but paramountcy lapses. That is the word, paramountcy. What is paramountcy? Well, paramountcy is not defined anywhere. I have 5 more minutes. I'll not take Mr. Mohan next time. I'm finishing. Paramountcy. Paramountcy, what is paramountcy? Nowhere defined. The great constitutionalist, Dicey himself, said, I don't understand what is paramount. Professor Westlake, in his book on international law, very beautifully summarized the paramount relationship between the crown and these so-called sovereigns of India. Paramountcy, I'm repeating the verbatim wording, it's not my wording. Paramountcy, wisely, cunningly, fittingly, unwittingly, conveniently left undefined. Beautiful. Professor Westlake's classic. Fittingly, unwittingly, wisely, cunningly. What I want to tell you is the research point here. You may think that I'm talking too much. The research point says that this is the argument for abolition of 370. Now we are arguing. Current situation. An old issue of 47 is now current situation for research under state succession policy. That we are arguing 370 abolition is illegal. It is disputed territory. Who said that it is a disputed territory? Who said that it is a disputed territory? Justice A.S. Anand, in his book on this constitution of Jammu Kashmir, PhD thesis of Justice A.S. Anand, made it very clear it was only a sale deed. British sold it to Raja Har Singh's great grandfather. He purchased it, sale deed. So you and I have a sale deed. So it was a sale deed, and various other things. Then this is another Chief Justice of India has made it very clear that it is nowhere stated that instrument of accession or what we call it as ascertaining the will of the plebiscite. be ascertained that it is big. The plebiscite word is not there in the instrument of accession anywhere. Anywhere. We are law students. We go by legal document. The legal document is attended by 535 kingdoms and also Jammu Kashmir, the same legal document. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel got the same document. Does not got a new document. Then Lord Mountbatten, while sending the letter of acceptance to the king, he has written in his own letter, covering letter, that we will ascertain the will of the people. Who is Lord Mountbatten to express his view on behalf of government of India? It is an instrument of accession between the sovereign king of that country and with the government of India. In the instrument of accession, whether it is there, no. Nowhere. Then there is the question of plebiscite. Number two, we cannot call them sovereign because the other orders that are passed said all properties, liabilities, debts, everything will fall either India or Pakistan, India or Pakistan. None of them are responsible. And the rights, properties, liabilities order of 1947 very amply, specifically, empathetically says that these sovereigns, these princely states will merge either of the dominion India or Pakistan. What does it mean? It's a temporary convenience. Why? Because all the colonial masters in every part of the world, whenever they left the colonies, they created a lot of confusion for the colonies to fight forever so that they will be happy. And if we read 294, 295 of the Constitution of India, articles, and 363, the article 294, 295 says very clearly, all rights, properties, liabilities are succeeded either by government of India or by its successors. That means the first Union of India succeeded, later the states. So it's a succession. Then if we read Article 1 and 3, Article 1 says India, that is Bharat. Article 3 says India is a union of states. India is a union of states. Interpretation. Research. I'm talking interpretation of research. Union of states. Union of states means to think. State means as we are Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, we have now. Only such type of states. It never said conditional states are part of India. Are we in synchronization with Article 3? Jammu Kashmir is a condition, you say. If it is a condition, whether it is a state, then there is no princely state. There is no constant assembly. There is no, everything is succeeded by the same parliament. The parliament did it. Parliament did it. Parliament. So like this, we have to interpret in research. And I'm telling, coming to the point before I take leave of you, with respect to the doctrinal, non-doctrinal research, many people think this is how, this is doctrinal research, what I spoke so far, not non-doctrinal. But in this doctrinal research, you have to apply. Since time gap, I'm not talking non-doctrinal. I've discussed an example of non-doctrinal without telling you I'm talking with perspectives of doctrinal research. This is how we have to teach. We have to tell the student in the end what I spoke. Otherwise, student get confused what I spoke. I spoke only doctrinal research. How you do your doctrinal compared to analysis and other methods. So when you talk of doctrinal research, you have to use methods like inductive, deductive. You deduct and you deduct. So inductive, deductive methods you have to adapt. Then you have to adapt compare to inductive, compare to deductive. Then you use classical questionnaire. Sir, non-doctrinal only questionnaire comes, in doctrinal questionnaire doesn't come. Doctrinal also questionnaire comes. But here, it is not random questionnaire, random sample. It is classical selective sample, selective questionnaire. You have to identify the expert, you have to talk to the problem, you have to tell the problem, put a targeted interview, put a targeted question, get the targeted answer, and analyze and take that analysis with respect to your research is concerned. This is what in fact, to me, if you ask, doctrinal research is the toughest research than non-doctrinal. Many people say doctrinal is a library research, armored research. Not. Not. Please share the opinion. Doctrinal research is a library research or a bookish research or armchair research. You relax and read. It is a tough method. It's the toughest method, and amplification of research categorization, perspectives of research categorization, dealing with cases, case perspectives, case analysis are number of issues that we have to take into consideration, and then we can understand. So with respect to the techniques of research, I've explained in depth because you are all teachers. If it is students, my lecture would have been different. Since you are teachers, I've given more analytical thinking of research. How do you analyze? By giving a small example of a current issue of Jammu Kashmir. But it is definitely, they're not considered BJP or Congress, whoever is in power. That is political. We are law students. Ours is research. What are the status? That's all. So we discuss only that. So with respect to that perspective, Kashmir is an integral even according to 1947 Indian Independence Act and the orders passed by there. There is the question of we have unnecessarily went to Security Council. The government of India went to Security Council and it said we will ascertain. All that is not necessary. All that is not there. It's an internal matter of government of India like any other state. Because India is a union, is a corporate. One more thing I want to tell you, many of us call it as a quasi-federal Indian constitution. It is not. It is cooperative federation. Please read the last speech of the chairman of the drafting committee, B.R. Ambedkar's last Thanksgiving speech in the Constituent Assembly, about 15 pages. Read hundreds of times. I read several times. Every time you read, you get a very new idea out of it. And he has beautifully summarized that. Cooperative federalism is inculcated in our preamble perspective of social justice. Is economic justice, liberty, equality. Now, how do we define these four: justice, liberty, equality? Wanted, we think of first justice, liberty, equality, but no, you have to go from the bottom. Think of fraternity, then equality, then think of liberty, then come to this is the perspective that we have to come. Then we reach social justice. Then we reach cooperative federalism. These are the fundamental nuances of perspectives that a teacher has to penetrate into a technique of a teaching or research perspectives with respect to various ways and means are considered. And I hope in this 7-day FDP program, all the experts will deal various intricacies, inter-perspectives, inter-perspectives, and comparative perspectives, comparative skills of with respect to development of the nuances and teaching. And I wish all the colleagues taking part in this workshop all the best for future, and be proud that this opportunity given to us by COVID-19 should be remembered and well used and well utilized to become the best teachers or best vice chancellors tomorrow. Who knows? Or some of you may become even the president, prime minister. Who knows? I wish you all the best, and I thank the organizers for having reposed confidence in me and giving me the chance. And thank you, one and all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think one of the things that will definitely stay with me and for with the rest of the participants is this, that even after 35 years, you go back to study when you're preparing for a class. I think that is one thing that should really motivate each one of us to not just become good researchers, but even good teachers. We're extremely thank you, sir, for this very, very informative session that you engaged us with, and the passion with which you're speaking in itself really shows how much you want to encourage us and how much you want to push us to take research seriously, not just as a degree, but something that we are really passionate towards. Thank you so much, sir. Before we go ahead, we'll just be taking a couple of questions because of the paucity of time. So one of the questions that has been asked is that
How to teach in the COVID period? That
yes,
is
yes,
one question.
yeah. Like teaching in this COVID period, is it going to affect the legal, the legal field differently? In the sense that, is it going to affect the law field differently? This online teaching methods, even though we can include, a lot of innovative methods in teaching, but still, do you think that it is beneficial for the legal field?
Well, effect is there everywhere. We can't say there is no effect. We can't say there is no effect. Some amount of effect is there. But we can overcome what I told you in the beginning. Every negative aspect gives us a positive thing. We can do more positive thinking, but this has given a chance to reach out to the society beyond the classroom purview, to conduct webinars and spread law, because in India, many people want to know, many people doesn't. So you can do many tailor-made courses, interdisciplinary courses, called as money spending programs, which are can be brought to society at large, like law and fashion technology. Why not? Law and fashion technology. We don't offer a course, law and fashion technology. We don't think of others, or law and film industry, law and labor relations. Because migrant laborers, recently we have seen, the people say man-made disaster. So many critics and academicians started passing comments. The government has not handled it properly. Well, who is responsible? I ask you the question, before throwing a stone at the government, any government in power, before throwing a stone at the government, what am I did to the government? What am I did to my country? If you comment, government has handled very wrongly, sir, it would have done it like this, sir, then why you have not given your advice to the government well in advance before the crisis came into existence? You are not. We are passing a buck. We excuse. Now everybody says the government has failed in handling. We are not an opposition, but we are not politicians. We are researchers, academicians. We are public. And democracy is the people, for the people, by the people. We have a right. So if I send to government, nobody bothers. That's true. But nowadays, I think the present Prime Minister, present government is available on WhatsApp, this, that, everything. You have a platform to share your views. It will reach. If not 100 people send it, at least one will reach. Definitely.
Yes, yes.
One, that's one. Two, teaching particularly to the law class is concerned about the direct question that it has come. Oxford University and some of the universities in England declared next academic year completely online universities. So it's a good advantage that you need not go to England. You can sit in India and join and get a degree of Oxford easy. Advantage if you see. Then in India, as per Niti Aayog itself, well, it's an opportunity now for the managements and the law schools that we have to curtail our unnecessary expenditure for functions, bouquets, shawls, this, that, everything. Put that money on. And our technology, it's of course one of the duty of the government. The technology should be introduced, because in India, as on today, as per Niti Aayog, only 30% of the education institutions are technological friendly savvy. 70% are not. We have rural areas. So we have to connectivity issues have to be planted. I think this is a good opportunity. Maybe initially we may have hiccups and problems, definitely, but in the longer run, this avoids problem. Infrastructure, building, this, that, everything. So in a 4-5 hours, you can have virtual library, everything. You can teach the students across by over laptop, this and that. And in this job-oriented era, they can do job and record your lecture anytime, read and prepare, and then come and take their examination. It's a very beautiful opportunity that is provided to us to think. So it becomes more environmental friendly, more stress can be reduced, and teachers also, of course, in India and in many countries, we are not allowed to practice. Maybe I appeal to the Bar Council, don't allow us to practice like a full-time lawyer, but allow us to participate in chamber practice or consultancy practice, or in minor cases, we have millions of cases are pending, million cases in summer vacation, this and now virtual court, allow us to participate with the senior judges and others, 1-2 teachers as observers in court. So we come out and we can be more professional oriented. So I think COVID-19, if we take it on the positive side, well, initial hiccups are there definitely, but it's a very vast opportunity that has been provided to us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, before we take one more question further, I would request Father Emmanuel to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
No, could you tell me the person who is asking the question so that I can also?
Yes, sure, sir. So just 1 minute. I will just tell you the name.
That it is pleasure to see other colleagues.
Amit Kashyap. And
Yes,
then,
sir. Dr. Amit Kashyap. Yes.
And then Gyansudha Datta wants a point to be clarified about the number of hypotheses. Sir.
Yes.
Number of
Hypothesis. Sir was telling that one hypothesis is better, and if that becomes null, there will be problems, and therefore, what is your opinion about the number of hypotheses?
Hypothesis means only one. Strict meaning of hypothesis is only one. You can bring in all 2 or 3 issues into the hypothesis, which you can bring. Here I say, for example, hypothesis framing. Suppose if I'm working, impact of COVID-19 on legal education is my thesis. COVID-19 has positive and negative aspects. COVID-19 has given us the chance to develop a virtual classroom center. To what extent or how the virtual classroom centric is a success? Whether it will replace various perspectives or not. So like this, they have 4 or 5 aspects in the report, and then you frame an hypothesis. COVID-19 presented both positive and negative perspectives. You look at the positive perspective, technology replaces legal teaching. To what extent technology replaces legal teaching, or technology hampers legal teaching of regular interactive perspective. Over. Now you have to test and you have to come out the various perspectives. And I will give you one more example. The Indian Constitution is the largest and most beautiful constitution in the world. However, it has failed in its implementation. Oh, now you are doing research. It's a failure. Where 1 billion PhD thesis can be done on this hypothesis. Your hypothesis should be pinpointed. Pinpointed. We have a very transparent judicial system, but still access to justice is not there. You have to prove it, whether access to justice is there or not. Your thesis is over. Nowadays, it's become a fashion. People write in the end, hypothesis is tested in the end. It's all tested. Your conclusion suggests that too. But we don't. We again restate the hypothesis, restate the conclusion, restate the paras, and then increase the thesis. And another thing I observed nowadays, because I don't blame the young scholars, I blame the senior guides, that in the introduction chapter, conclusion chapter, nobody gives footnote. That means You write footnote, introduction, chapter, conclusion from your brain. Is it not plagiarism by not quoting the sources in introduction, conclusion? One scholar told me, who are you to tell me that I should write the footnotes in introduction and conclusion? Then I said, who are you to tell me that I should award PhD to you? Very simple. Very simple. We don't write footnote. We don't write anything properly. Very lethargic footnote. And if you see it for 20 pages, one footnote. Then, so hypothesis should be strictly speaking only one. You can frame the object. Objectives of the study can be 4 or 5, in which your hypothesis tells as an objective. You can't write hypothesis, research questions, objectives, and various other things. Then what you are adopting, what you are doing. What you are doing. When you are doing doctrinal research, hypothesis will not be there. Mostly research questions will be there. Because in you are doing doctrinal, hypothesis plays a very vital role in non-doctrinal research, because you come out with a sample or a moderate study basing on which you. Whereas in doctrinal study, you have to attempt 4, 5, 6 issues, which cannot be put it in a single hypothesis. That is the reason why guides suggest write 4, 5 hypotheses. 4, 5 hypotheses, there is no coherence. Only one hypothesis is coherent. So we won't. Yale Law School. We all look at Harvard. We look at Yale, because Yale is very, very traditional. Getting an admission, getting a research fellowship is difficult in Yale even today. They are, when thoroughly convinced, only they look into the, even Oxford or Cambridge are also liberal, but not. Yale is not till date. Same tradition, what they had 100 and 200 years back, still the same tradition Yale Law School. That's why many people accept to refer Yale, because they don't listen, because their methodology is foolproof, not market-oriented, tablet-oriented, solution-oriented. Theirs is foolproof, solution-oriented. We don't look at Yale at all. Please look at Yale methodology. Yale study clearly says that and moreover, while doing research also, you have to study different dimensions of research methodology. I'm writing a book on introduction to research methodology. We need to write here to present in a different perspective. So don't put too many hypotheses. If you are doing a doctrinal effort, I advise strictly put research questions and objectives. That's sufficient. That's sufficient. And then many people write, since you have asked me this question, I would like to tell you in research methodology, when we write research methodology, we simply write, this thesis is adopted doctrinal method, or non-doctrinal method. No, that is not. When you are writing a research methodology, your own subject of the title, what you are writing, just give in 4 to 5 lines and see your research methodology, how it fits in that particular subject with the objectives and methodology you have selected. That means research methodology presentation should be minimum 2 paras of 20 lines. This is a standard pattern of research methodology. Many professors doesn't share with you. I'm sharing because nobody told me. I learned on my own from after a lot of reading. This is how research methodology should be presented in a thesis. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now I would quickly request Father Emmanuel PJ, who has been a backbone in starting this FDP 7-day series, Nyayachara Deepika, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Preeti. Professor T.S.N. Sastry, our respected
Good evening.
good evening. Very good evening to you, sir, and the respected speaker for the day, and Professor Dr. Mohan Arwala, the principal of Christianity College of Law, Reverend Father Jose Kuti PD, the principal of the Christianity campus and Christianity College Autonomous, Reverend Dr. Augustine George, the Vice Principal and the former Director of the College of Law, and all the management team and their faculty members, as well as all the dignitaries and the delegates and participants for this Nyayachara Deepika online faculty development program, or a 7-day faculty development program, which we designed under the expectation of the demands of the UGC requirements to qualify for a quality FDP program in this pandemic period. On the outset, I wanted to thank all of you for taking this short notice invitation to come together and share your knowledge and wisdom with each other. But I especially wanted to thank Professor T.S.N. Sastry, the Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu, Dr. Ambedkar Law University, Chennai, for guiding us, inspiring us with the topic of teaching and research techniques in law. As sir, as you are mentioning, you reminded us with the simplest examples of like reading a book. How do you read a book? You know, do you have that random reading and casual reading, and then reaching to the research reading? How minutely we have to be concentrating into the pedagogies, into our systems, so that the world will remember us as good teachers. And I also appreciated your humility in saying, taking examples from your own life while mentioning how you were approached by a student who probably gave you insights and enlightenment to become what you are right now. And I'm sure, you know, some of the characters as we play in our lives, you know, we don't really reach our great heights by a single day. We reach by the hard work and the toil. And we appreciate the hard work through which you reached your greatness and heights, which is still growing. And Kristu Jayanti family is really indebted to you for this great evening. And when I mention about Kristu Jayanti College of Law and Kristu Jayanti family, I should not forget to mention that this is a campus with some 8,000 students, which we started in the outskirts of the Bangalore, in the outside of the Bangalore.
Outside of Bangalore?
It was originally started in 1999 outside of Bangalore premises in Kottanur, K. Narayanpura village. So we, the CMI fathers, the Carmelites of Mary Immaculate, Kristu Jayanti College is managed by the CMI fathers. We have more than 1,000 higher education institutions across the country, with some 59 plus colleges in the country, which includes probably many of you might remember Christ University as one of that, and medical colleges and engineering institutes, because we are following the tradition of Saint Kyriakos Elias Chavara, a pioneering educationist from Kerala from 1837 and 1847 period, who believed that only through education you can transform a society. And he initiated the first school in Kerala in 1847, who also was the Vicar General of the times then, and he ordered that every church should start one school. If not, the church will be closed. So that was a sort of the revolutionary concept in 1847 this man had. So that inspired us to continue to do the best for the society, and we go to the outskirts, and then the city reaches to us, and then we go to the next level. Now that we have 20 kilometers away from Bangalore city, and now the city has come to us, and now we are going to 40 miles away from the city, and we have started another education institution there. So that's how we go, try to enlighten the generations to come, and which we do as well. And Kristu Jayanti College of Law, though it is very young, we have already had Supreme Court judges and High Court judges and all the legal luminaries. More than 65 of the great personalities have already came to the campus and given insight and enlightenment to our students and faculty so far. But then we never had this online FDP opportunities, which probably before the pandemic people thought, oh, it's nothing, it's very easy. But now we believe it is as, there is a saying, as we say, when God closes a door, he opens a window. So the pandemic, as sir, you mentioned, people might think it as a curse, but then it is a blessing in disguise. It is a blessing in disguise that, the entire world is now enjoying the globalization in its real meaning. The village, the global the earth has become a small village wherein technology is enabling us, to come together and share our insights. So with this note, I wanted to appreciate Professor T.S. Sastry, for the Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Chennai Law University, for being with us this evening. Though it's a short notice, you agreed with to the constant request of, as you mentioned, Professor Mohan Bala, who is a champion of connecting with the world and connecting with the legal luminaries. Through his guidance and leadership, we are able to connect with a lot of people. And at this moment, I especially wanted to thank Professor T.S. Sastry for your enlightenment to this evening. So thank you so much, sir. And I also wanted to thank Reverend Father Joskuti PD, the principal of the Christian, and the entire family and college, and Dr. Augustine George, the vice principal, and all the other management team, and the deans and the heads of department and the faculties being together to this evening. But I should not go without thanking all the luminaries and the legal experts from various, and the professors and faculty members and research scholars who came together. As you know, this is a 7-day series. And so we request you to be together for all the 7 days, so that you will be eligible for a UGC recognized, as we suppose, valid certificate, e-certificate, which will be definitely adding more colors to your resume as well as to your academic research in the pursuit of excellence as well. So wanted to also thank all the faculty coordinators who is guiding and monitoring and enlightening us with interventions in the due time. I also wanted to thank each and every one of us who are gathered here. Especially wanted to thank the tech team who are always behind the curtains, who are helping us, all the non-teaching staff who are helping us doing this day reality as well. So thanking you all once again. Hope to see you again tomorrow at 3 p.m. This is an ongoing process. Tomorrow we will see you again at 3 p.m. in the same platform. Until then, say goodbye to you. Let us probably enjoy and thank God for the times that we are given here as in the name of pandemic, which is not really a pandemic. Probably it is a blessing in disguise. Thank you once again. May God bless. I remain.
Thank you very much, sir, Sastry garu, for giving us an opportunity and blessing us.
No, it's an opportunity for me also to interact. It's because as teachers,
Very nice of you.
maybe if God gives an opportunity, I can visit your campus personally.
Yeah, please, sir. It's not that you're here online, offline, physically. We await eagerly for your visit to the college and bless our students there.
Definitely.
Kind of.
Thank you all. I wish you all the best to all the participants.
Thank you so much, sir. Just a kind request to all the participants that a feedback form will be sent today itself. With respect to today's session, please make sure that you fill that form and send it back to us, so that we can keep a record of how many people attended today's session. And this will definitely be very, very helpful in also making sure that you qualify to get the certificate that Father was just mentioning. Thank you once again. If there is any query, please get back in touch with us using the WhatsApp group that has been created. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, one and all.
Thank you.